Welcome to the NFAA podcast. I'm your host, Rod White, U.S. Archery Olympic gold medalist, NFAA bowhunting coordinator, professional archer, and bow hunter. Whether you're a target archer, bow hunter, or recreational archer, we would love for you to join our archery family by signing up today at www.nfaausa.com. Membership benefits include bow hunter liability insurance, qualification to attend national tournaments, certified instructor programs, and a full year subscription to our official NFAA Archery magazine. Now, on to the show. Please welcome to the podcast, Demetrio and Maria Mascarenas. Where are you guys from?
We're from Chicago. We're going to be doing this looking at each other. We're from Chicago.
That was a trick question.
that was a tough one. We just want to start out like, well, that's a tough one. Where do you want to tell me we're from?
And what division do you guys shoot in?
I shoot traditional.
Okay.
I shoot compound for the most part, but I like to shoot recurve and traditional and everything that's available.
Okay. So my understanding is you guys come to almost every tournament.
Yeah.
Which is weird. We haven't met before.
Yeah.
Or maybe
we've seen you.
Actually, yes.
Yeah.
Chris Whiffler introduced us in Yankton.
Oh, they're on the list too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So tell me, what is it about? I'm assuming you shoot other organizations too, right?
Yes.
Yes.
So what is it about the National Field Archery Association? Not saying it's better than any other one, but what is it about these events that continue to keep you coming to the National Field Archery Association events?
Maria has a really good answer for this.
Because I love the people.
Nice.
Natalie knows me. The first time we came to Yankton, we met Natalie, and she's actually from Elgin, Illinois, so that was our connection. And then every single event we go to, she always says hello. She introduces us to more NFAA people, so almost the whole team knows us.
That's what I think, that's what, when people ask me a lot, that's usually kind of my answer to something similar. It's always about my archery family.
Right.
Yes.
Because that's what this is. It's like my own family that's different than obviously my family at home.
Yes.
But it's always cool to come back and visit with people. And one of the coolest things is, like yesterday, while we were setting up, we needed some string. So we had one of the gals running all the way to Home Depot to go get some string. I'm like, why don't you just go ask somebody with a string company, throwing it out there, and we did. And BCY Chris Destin just gave us a whole spool, and that's what we used to lay lines.
That's amazing,
with.
Right?
Yeah,
I saw that on the actual webcast.
Yeah. Family's cool. What about you? Same reason?
Same exact reason. I mean, they're very welcoming. Bruce always catches your eye, and then he always has to say hi.
Yeah.
And he's the chairman or the president of NFAA, and that's unusual. People in different type of sports such as NASCAR, you wouldn't be able to walk up to a CEO or a race car driver, but in this situation you can walk up to the pros. But when it comes to NFAA, like Maria said, Natalie's a great solidifier of meeting new people, and everyone's really friendly. I mean, genuinely friendly. It's not just, oh, hi, I have to say hi to you, but it's hello, how have you been?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when the first shoot that you came to, how long ago was that? How long have you been shooting NFA?
We've been shooting about 2.5 years for myself. And
I'm only shooting 1 year.
Right. But she does traditional, and she's been getting all the trophies because she's really good. She's better than I am.
No. I don't have as much competition as you.
But we fell in love with archery in general because of a birthday party that we held for my son. And within 30 days, we went to Vegas as the first competition because we were so in love with it. I got naturally comfortable with it, and with no pressure of shooting with 3,000 other people, I just said, let's go do it. And she said, okay, let's go book a couple of tickets. And we got out here together, little practice, and we started shooting. And then from Vegas,
he shot
we
Vegas
found
first.
out about Yankton from Vegas. We only knew that Vegas existed. We didn't know about the intricacies of going to different events around the country, but we had the time, so we scheduled it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and so it was very exciting.
So coming to your first event, what was that like? As far as like you having not been, you've been to other shoots, I guess.
Yes.
Before that. So like, did you have?
That was the first.
This was the very first shoot you've
the
ever.
Vegas. Yeah.
NFAA.
Yeah.
So
we did small local ones.
Okay.
Pin shoots. That's what we basically did. Was archery was just shoot at paper. But what we realized was someone said, there's pin shoots. And we're like, what's pin shoots? And the way I described it to other people is it's like a karate belt. You get your white belt, then another color, then another color. But even though it is a USA Archery type situation, in NFAA, you basically find out where your medium is with these pins that USA Archery offered. But with NFAA, it's just a great challenge. And there's different formats, and there's not just one format in just shooting paper. It's not just a colored, or it could be just blue and white, but 2 different types of blue and whites too.
Well, and that's one of the questions I had on my list was for everyone is what is your favorite format of all? I mean, because Vegas is drastically different. For those that don't know, you're shooting a yellow, red, and blue color face versus a just white and blue face like we're shooting here.
Right. For me, there's not one favorite because we do 3D, we do field, and we do paper indoors. So I've always enjoyed everything. I was introduced to the actual archery world through paper. But when I went to the pro shop, the person that sold me my first bow said, "This is the bow for you." And I didn't realize it was a hunting bow, and I've never hunted in my life. So 3 weeks later, I go, "I need a target bow, honey." And she's like, "Okay." And then so I go home with that first hunting bow, and I didn't have arrows. I'm like, "Honey, I need to spend another $200 in arrows." And then that's when she goes, "Where's my bow?" So
well,
I
that
got
happened
her,
months later.
Right,
Yeah.
months later, she's like, she sees how much fun I was having. So I actually started shooting. Then she goes, she wants to start shooting too.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And then so what's your favorite round? I mean, you shoot bare bow, but which of the target faces and formats?
My favorite is 3D.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
That's mine too, actually.
My favorite is 3D. And then the blue and white.
Awesome. That's cool. So do you guys go to Reading? Have you been there yet?
No, not yet. That's on the list.
Dude, that's a must go to.
We're hearing so many things about that.
Yeah.
And we do. That's one of our, bucket list type situations.
So not signed up for this year?
Not yet.
No, not yet.
Not yet. But we're definitely going to work it out. But from now on, Vegas is definitely always on the list. And we've always worked out Yankton.
Gotcha.
So every time Yankton has an event, we're always booking everything ahead.
So would you suggest to people that are just getting started where, like, someone who might be listening to this and think about doing some tournament type stuff, what would you suggest they go to those small shoots then just to get a feel for it? Or do you feel like comfortable enough that you both say, like, I would say your first shoot ever, you could come to indoor nationals, for example, and be just fine? Or do you think it's something you really should prepare for by going to a lot of the smaller tournaments?
Well, it depends on how you want to approach it. If you're going to think of becoming a professional, obviously you have to prepare for it. But if you're there to meet new people, such as every archer that I've ever met on the actual shooting floor, they've been friendly. And you always learn something new from the people you shoot with. Like, never put your clipboard right at the arrow butt head or at the actual face because you might poke yourself in the, little things like that. But to answer your question, definitely you need a little preparation. You don't want to go cold. You don't want to be shooting all over the place. So you definitely want to do a couple of local shoots and get the gist of scoring. But after that, definitely, in my situation, it was 60 days. I went to the biggest actual tournament with confidence because I was having so much fun. But I didn't treat it as, I need to shoot as good as a pro. But, I'm nowhere near that. But I'm having fun.
Right.
And I think that's what's important. I don't know if it's ever going to become a job, and I hope it doesn't because it's too much fun.
Right.
Yeah.
So what are your individual goals in archery then as related to tournaments? Do you have any long-term goals that okay, I want to be a pro or whatever it may be?
So as a traditional archer, I just want to be an archer. That you couldn't tell that my bow is a traditional. I shoot just as well as a compound.
Oh, nice. That's cool.
Yeah. Well,
that's my goal.
That's doable.
Yeah, my goal is just to eventually get a 900 in Vegas.
Oh, nice. Yep.
I've gotten very close, and it's very exciting when you get that one tick. And people have been going there for 20 years, and they're getting better and better. My goal is just to get a little bit better, but not perfect each time. Knowing that there's going to be an issue, there's something like my first time in Vegas. There was 2 days of qualification, and on the third day, after 15 arrows, my bow blows up. It just blew up because I didn't put an arrow in the actual bow. So everyone's going,
you're
no.
so excited you didn't have an
and then
arrow.
they're going, oh no, Demetrio's done for it, because I was shooting really well. I then go, oh my gosh, I'm not quitting. I grab the bow and I run to Lancaster, and they rebuilt my bow. They restrung it on the press within 4 minutes. I was able to shoot the last 15 arrows, and 12 of them were bullseyes, and I still placed. And it was great. It was in my flight. But
that was his first Vegas shoot.
And after that, I'm like, this is incredible. People will drop what they're doing to help somebody in a time of need.
Yep.
You
That's
know?
that archery family thing.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Crazy.
Yes, it was good. It was a great experience, and I tell that story to everybody.
Yeah.
But, you know,
So my part of that story was I was a spectator. So
Uh-huh.
I saw that happen. My son was with me. I'm like, oh my gosh, you go grab his toolkit, which I think was underneath the chair, and you go run, because he ran to Lancaster already. And then I'm going to go get Randy Rutledge, who I see across the way, and maybe he can help too.
Right.
So I'm running to Randy. Randy's now saying, what? He went to Lancaster. So everybody's now running over to Lancaster to try and help him get back on the line in 15 minutes.
They give you that 15-minute window, and it was done. It was amazing. I was like,
Yeah.
this is crazy. The guy at Lancaster pulled it back. He goes, you're good to go. Because he goes, are you shooting right now? I'm like, yes, I want to shoot more. So it was good. You know, there's
cool.
a lot of pros that walk around with 2 bows. I had my single bow, and it was fine. It was great. You know,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, your aspirations you were talking about, like, do you think you'll stay in the bare bow division, or I guess you say traditional division? Is it traditional or bare bow? I forget it.
For NFAA, I'm traditional.
Okay.
For USA, it's under bare bow.
Gotcha. I get confused between them because we have so many different bare bow rules. So those of you that are
Yeah.
listening, different divisions, like Lancaster has their own. And
Yeah, that's true too.
Yep. So, do you think you'll switch out of that someday and go to something different, or
No
are you just
way.
gonna stay with that? Really?
No
That's
way.
just gonna stick with that.
Yes.
That's cool.
it's a funny story because when she goes, I go, what's your curriculum for you to start shooting with me? You know, she goes, first you must get me a bare bones traditional bow. It has to be vintage, and second of all, and most importantly, it has to look pretty.
Yes.
So I had to look at all the avenues. How am I going to get her a bow, and how am I going to get her to touch it? She will never touch a compound bow.
No.
So is that like Hunger Games inspired or something? Like you're like,
I think it just had to look pretty.
Yeah, it has to be pretty. So I have a pretty Bear Alaskan 1962 bow. It's black on one side and like, what would you say, nice tan on the other.
So when you say bear, you were looking for that manufactured bear, or you mean a bear bow, correct?
No,
No,
the bear.
it's
You
the
wanted,
bear.
you wanted a bear bow,
bow.
model bow.
Yeah.
Or
Bear company. Right.
Gotcha. Okay.
And so I located one. I'm like, okay, try this out. So she tries it out, and then now it came to the arrows. I'm like, okay, honey, I'm gonna go and get you these arrows. And she goes, it has to look pretty. After each item, because you had to build the arrows, the feathers have to look pretty. And I'm like, honey, I think it's gonna build better if I put small vanes because you're shooting such a light arrow, blah, 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 you know, all these little technical things. She's like, no, I want it to look pretty. I want 4-inch feathers with the German flag.
No, I didn't care about the German
it just has to
flag.
look pretty.
It had to be pretty. So
Right.
it was red, black, and yellow. And I'm
Yes.
like, oh, those are pretty colors. They
Right.
look nice together.
And she proved me wrong because I said, shoot my arrows that I already built with small little fletches,
Yeah.
little
2-inch, yeah.
1 inch,
Ugly,
1.6
yeah.
inch fletches, and then her 4-inch. I'm like, mine's gonna shoot better. I'm like, shoot better. And she gets on a line and starts firing off her feathers. I'm like, crap. She starts plugging the middle. And I'm
No,
like,
I didn't.
well,
I hit the target.
I step back. I'm like, whatever you say on your pretty, it's fine, you know. But we have little stories like that. It's pretty funny.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, so I've got a little list of questions. I know I started on them and I ADHD'd right over some of them. So let's see, which one do I got to get here? Oh, do you guys bow hunt at all, or no? You said
I started this
He
year.
did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I was shooting regular target for just paper and tournaments for 1 year, and then finally the club members that I befriended, you know, they're all friendly. They're like, you need to go hunting with us. So I started, and within 2 hours of the first session, which is a 3-hour span, I was able to see an animal, and I was in a blind with a friend. And I pulled back on the animal, and I said, I need to actually shoot. Or he said to me, you need to shoot at the animal because it's going to move.
And
I'm
what
like,
is the animal?
It was a
It was
deer.
a deer.
Okay.
And it was great. But what he was looking for, which is really interesting to me, is if I actually would pull the trigger. And that's what makes a great teacher, you know, that I actually went with. And he is such a great teacher that he went with another friend that actually he sat with for almost a year because the other person was not comfortable. But in my situation, he goes, you're so comfortable at archery, you could, after we go down after lunch, you're on your own. I'm like, after 3 hours of myself? Really? So I was all excited, but I was calm, collected. I shot at the animal. I did miss because it was misranged, because it was hasty in, but it was a direct shot because we lined it up with the tree, and it just grazed its vertebrae. But it was a beautiful thing. I wasn't shaking. You know, they was expecting whether first if I was going to pull the trigger.
Yep.
And second of all, if I had the nerve to actually go through with it. So.
Well, that's really interesting because a lot of times I talk in my seminars about how it's the same. You experience the same things physically and mentally whenever you get under pressure in a tournament. Most people do, and if they're going to shoot at a deer, so or an animal of any sort, something that they're really excited, obviously, to harvest. What would you describe for you yourself personally? Would you say that that's pretty much the same feeling, or do you have different feelings when you get when you go out there and you're shooting your first few arrows or your last few arrows of a really good round? What's that? Is there a difference in pressure for you?
Well, I guess I'm a fairly calm person, so even with big groups of, let's say, 2,000 to 3,000 people, you know that you're shooting numbers and everything. It's never really gotten me too nervous. In comparison with hunting, it's actually the same because you see something, it's very calming. So all in all, in my situation, at least for a personal thing, I could say that I'm a fairly calm person. So the pressure really doesn't get to me that much.
But they relate to are they the same feelings that you have under?
It's similar because it's both calming. You know, you don't take account. Yeah, there's going to be little distractions here and there, but overall, the focus to the target, whether it be paper or 3D animal or an actual animal, is actually all identical in my situation.
That's cool because I think if you get the skill set down, holy cow, you're going to be. Some people are going to be drinking Coca-Cola.
I know. This is all for fun. I mean, you know, me and her have fun doing stuff, and I just designed. We were able to get these jerseys at the Coke store in Vegas.
Yeah.
And I'm like, they have
That's cool.
We got to put the archery on the bottom, and they're going to notice us. So I'm walking around with Coke bottles and stuff. So
That's
fun.
Awesome. A couple other questions that I got. Let's see. Okay, here's a good one. Superstitions. Do you guys have superstitions?
Like
when you walk out there, are there, and it doesn't have to be a superstition, maybe, I just couldn't come up with another word for it, but like when I go out and shoot, I usually have a song that I've got in my head, and I've got a mental imagery program that I run before my shot, during my shot, and after. Not that you have that, but there's people that have, I don't know, I know somebody that's got a bunny foot, like a silly, like a lucky bunny foot thing that they got on their quiver. And there's lots of different, there's so many, it's ridiculous. So what's your story? Do you have one of those that you're, any little quirks or things like that you?
No, not really.
No? Well, I've started writing. Well, I guess I'm trying to get to that upper level of shooting. So there's people that say shoot small, miss smaller type thing. I actually started writing things on my hand while shooting. And I think that helps because, you know, you'll then drown out what other people are talking about, because the last thing you'll see before you pull back is the word small on my hand, because I wrote it on there. So it's to aim small. And it's helped, I think, in the last one, because that was the first time I got a 300 in an NFAA round, because I wrote the word small. You know, it's just little things like that. But that's what I started doing. And of course, I forgot to do it this time. And that's why I missed twice. I missed twice. Or at least, you know, 298. But it's a good score.
That's
regardless.
Cool. Right. Awesome. Good shooting.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to ask this question because only because I was going to ask a tip, so you just gave one.
Yep.
So you don't even have to respond to this.
Okay, great.
If there's a tip that you could give to someone about how to improve their shooting in a tournament situation, what would it be?
First, to reach out and shake your competitor's hand in the beginning and in the end. You know, they're there. Whether some of them are going to be in deep focus, they're still going to reach out and shake your hand, because this is all about friendship. But at the same time, it is a competition, but always making that new friend, you know, and meeting someone new from somewhere around the world and seeing what they're all about, I think is the most important thing. Yeah, everybody's there for the same reason, to shoot hard, shoot strong, try to beat other people, but making a new friend is always going to be a new experience, and you'll learn about their culture.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That was cool. Yeah, I wasn't even expecting an answer, so I got two of them. So you get to do one. If you had one tip that you could give somebody that's just starting out, what would you give them?
Well, I don't know. You know, yeah, you're here to shoot, but when we come here, just coming down the row, it's like, oh my gosh, I have to allot like 20 minutes before I get to my target, because I'm saying hello to everybody that I've met since the beginning.
That's cool.
And then
Super
they're
cool.
stopping. So I was at bale 50, so they're just coming through the door. So a lot of people see me, and then I'm like in between ends, and they're coming, you know, hey, how you doing? How you shooting? You know, and I'm like,
So that's why you guys do all the selfies, so you remember everybody you met then.
God. And she
that
actually
too.
has a little
No,
notebook.
I remember everybody's names too.
I'm the one that doesn't
Yeah,
know
he's
anyone.
like, oh,
I'm like,
who's
who's that
that?
one? Who's that one? No, but it's good though.
So that's like a little hobby of your guys, though, too. Like when you come to these shoot, you guys are doing like a little selfie album or something. I heard.
No, that's just a natural reaction, you know, because you know you want to remember your friends.
'Cause we're
Yeah.
Asian.
Yeah, Asian. That's another thing. No, but we've just done that for the fun of it. You know, that's just part of it. We knew that the phones finally started doing that. We couldn't do that with a 35mm camera, you know, because it's too heavy. But now with the cell phone, you can just click, 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 and then just create a little collage, and
That's
everything's
awesome.
cool.
So if people want to check you out, can they go, like if they friend request you, or do you have an archery page of sorts, or do you just
Oh
have...
no, we don't.
No, we don't.
actually.
Yeah, I should start one. It'd be
Maybe. Why not?
fun. Yeah, it'd be fun. You
Yeah.
could go and check out, it'd be cool to check out your albums.
Oh, yeah.
I heard you do you separate them out by tournaments, I hear? Did I not
It's just
understand
for
that
every
right?
event, and then
Yeah.
whoever we hung out with, where we, you know,
That's cool.
just to remind us of who we actually met.
So
That's
you're
awesome.
going to be in it.
Yeah,
Sweet.
because we've met a lot of people.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Can we ask you one question?
Sure.
What's with the tattoo? What is
This
that?
one?
Yes.
It says, I care because someday I want to see you in heaven.
Wow.
So it's in Hebrew. Yeah, it's a chance for, like, if someone asks me, it's, a lot of people ask me about it, actually.
Yes.
And it's a chance for me to kind of open the door and talk to them about Jesus.
It's an
So,
icebreaker.
yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
I
I'm
like
not
it.
religious by any means.
But
I don't go to
that's
church
great.
or
It looks
anything,
beautiful. It does look
yeah.
beautiful. Only because my son's also going to be he's been trying to get a tattoo for like years, ever since he was in high school.
Oh.
And he's like now 21.
Yeah.
He's like, can I get a tattoo? We're like, yeah. But you know, it's like interesting things like that. That's original, which
Yeah.
is a really nice thing.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In joking scenarios, sometimes I ask, when people ask me if I feel in a really good mood, I'll say, it says, would you like fries with that? And then just look at me and go,
Really?
yeah. I've said it. I'm kind of a prankster.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. Well, let me see if I got anything else on my list.
Are you shooting today?
I am. I shoot at 3:30 today.
Oh.
Nice.
Yep.
Are you back to recurve, or are you shooting compound now?
Oh, no. I shoot user-friendly equipment. I shoot compound stuff. Yeah. Yeah. I've got a little bit of a shoulder issue. Even if I wanted to go shoot recurve again, I don't.
Yeah.
I'd have to spend a lot of time probably in physical therapy and build it up. Kind of
Oh,
thing.
really?
Oh.
Wow,
So,
because of the holding, because you'd be pushing 45 pounds.
And they never, excuse me, they never really told me what it was, but there's something jacked up in there. When I was
Yeah.
young, I injured it in the Olympic trials.
Oh.
And they're
Wow.
basically, they're like, okay, you got two choices. We can give you a cortisone shot,
Uh-huh.
and you either, make the team keep shooting, or you don't, and you just don't shoot, because there's
Right.
no way you're going to shoot through that pain. And the damage that could occur as a result of that gets really, really ugly.
Right.
Oh.
So, yep. Okay, so I do got one more. So, and this is one for each of you, who's your favorite pro archer, or do you have an archer hero?
That's a good one.
One for
Yeah.
each of you.
That's a tough one.
Yeah.
Or is there someone you look up to? And it doesn't have to be somebody, like I say, that has a huge skill set. It could be, I know you guys are it seems like you're very socially active, obviously,
Right,
and
right.
that's super
That's
cool.
a
So it
tough
can be
question because we know so many great people. Maybe who would you like try to emulate, I guess, is another way of seeing it. Because we never took lessons.
Yeah.
Neither of us. And from an individual, we've always just taught each other. I see something that she's doing, so I guess I would look up to her. That's kind of weird.
That's kind of cool.
No,
It's not
because
weird.
she's actually a very solid shooter. She may not think that,
Don't
but
score that well.
but an actual archer, because we know so many, and we obviously watch Jesse Broadwater, Steve Anderson, Ochoa. I'm not going to say, but little inside jokes. But we notice all of them, and I don't know if we've been introduced to them. But I guess that would be the favorite type archer, for a compound. I don't know if you have a favorite traditional archer.
Anyone you look up to, or
Oh, well, I look up to John Demmer.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
she knows him.
Yeah.
That's
Cool.
a good thing, and he's actually very friendly too.
Yes, he's very, very
Yeah,
friendly.
and he's great for the sport because he's always trying to promote traditional
Yes.
archery. He's trying to
So,
keep it in
yeah.
the.
One day I'll
in the
score like
matrix.
him.
there you go.
One day.
That's
Years
cool.
from now. We'll see.
Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah,
Well, I guess that's kind of all I got.
excellent.
So,
So
Well,
this
let
was
me
fun.
ask you,
yeah.
because you were a former Olympian, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So what was that like? How did you get there?
Oh boy, that's a long story. So
We got time.
We got time. We got time.
yeah, so I started archery when I was around 12 years old. Went out to bow hunt. Went out and missed it. This is the long story made super short.
Okay.
But basically missed some deer and was heavily influenced to go take lessons by my dad.
Okay.
And so I played other sports, baseball, football, everything else. And archery was the first solo sport. I guess I bowled, so it's not technically correct, but I did a little bowling. But it was the first solo sport where, like for football, for example, if I was a receiver and quarterback threw a ball at me and I dropped it, I could always blame it on, well, that was the guy didn't throw the ball right. There's always somebody to blame something on in a team sport. And on that same token, when things did really, really well, I had a kind of an almost empty feeling like if our team did really well and I wasn't a part of that for whatever reason as a team, individual player within the team, I didn't feel accomplished at all like that, if that makes sense. So archery was the first sport that I really participated in where I could shoot an arrow or the activity, and I didn't have anyone to blame that on if it didn't go well.
Right.
And also, had only myself to kind of pat on the back. I'm like, oh, okay, I did that. And so that's why archery was super appealing to me. And so I started bow hunting, and bow hunting's always been everything. I've never stopped bow hunting. I got away from target archery for a little while. It's crazy because now I wish I would have never left. But the one thing that is super cool to me is having left archery, I don't know, around the age 24, 25-ish kind of thing. I worked for Matthews and some other companies along the way, and I had a lot of really big bow hunting contracts, and I just got away from target archery. I just kind of quit doing it.
Okay.
And then, because my contracts no longer were important for me to get to the tournaments as much as they were to hunt and do some of the video stuff, TV stuff. So I went to do that stuff, and when I came back, that was crazy for me to come back to a tournament. My first tournament was Reading. A friend talked me into coming again, which is like always been my favorite, even though I didn't shoot it. That wasn't a discipline I really was tied into, 3D mostly.
Right.
And I came back and I shot Reading, and the amount of people that I saw that remembered who I was. I'd gone through some really rough times in my life, so and still do. but I saw some people that I hadn't seen those people for 10 plus years, and they're like, "Hey, how's it going?" I'm just like,
"You remember me?
I can't believe you remember me."
Yeah.
Like I just had some self-esteem issues along with for a number of reasons, and that was like to me, I'm like, holy cow, like maybe I don't need that depression medication I'm taking. I didn't. I was like that's my medication, and it wasn't. You're just not able to snap off it like that. I've been on and off it sometimes, so I got like my own struggles I go through. But the one thing that keeps me all the time focused is archery.
Right.
And so I stick with that all the time. And of course, fortunate enough, I was won a gold in '96 and a bronze in 2000.
Wow,
that's impressive.
Yeah, so it was kind of cool. And I traveled all over the world. So it's really weird for me to think about like long-term goals other than I just want to be shooting with my family. That's it. And that sounds really bizarre to people because a lot of people are like, hey, I want to travel all over the world. I'd love to do that. And
up to a certain point, right?
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of a been there, done that kind of thing for me. Yeah. So now I shoot, release unlimited, and I'm probably, if I won Vegas in that style, I'd have to go back and look. But I'm sure I won probably won Vegas with a recurve. And I know I won it in the Bowhunter Flights one time.
Really? Wow.
So it'd be cool to do it. But once I do it, then I don't have any interest anymore. Just none. Right. But I always have interest coming back to see my family. So, maybe one day I'll be shooting bear bow with you. Who knows?
Hey.
You never know. It's probably not, but something like that.
You might have to wear a dress.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that. So, it was fun interviewing you guys.
Thank you.
And I'm not sure how we're going to use this. We're going to chop it all up and use little segments here and there, I guess.
Oh, keep an eye out. Yeah, we'll definitely keep an eye out for it.
I appreciate your time.
Awesome.
Good luck this weekend.
Yeah, you too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thanks.
This is great. Okay, cool.
That's it.